Biggest takeaways from Thursday Night Football. Next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome to FFT in 5. I'm Chris Towers. I'm here with Adam Azer. We're going to talk about 3 big takeaways from Thursday night's 34-20 Lions win over the Packers. And I just saw this fun note. The Lions are now 3-1, leading the NFC North. They have never won the NFC North. The last time the Lions won their division was in 1993, back when they were in the NFC Central, which I did not know was a division in the NFL, I'll be honest. So that's a neat little stat. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. And my first big takeaway from tonight's game, and Adam, I'll let you take the next couple of takeaways, but the big one for me is just don't panic about Aaron Jones and Christian Watson. The Packers offense looks a little dicey. Jordan Love, he was under pressure constantly, and I don't know how much better that's going to get with David Bakhtiari's season over, likely after having knee surgery. He's expected to be back in 2024, but that's a big loss for them. And Jordan Love struggled in this one. I think his accuracy has been pretty lacking over the first 4 games of the season, but they're asking a lot of him. It's all downfield stuff. I would really like to see the Packers dial up like one pass that's not either a deep shot or a dump off to a running back in the flats, because it seems like there's nothing in between in this offense. But yeah, he didn't play well. And Aaron Jones and Christian Watson, 2 catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown for Christian Watson. So if you did start him, you bailed out a little bit by that touchdown. Aaron Jones, 5 carries, 18 yards. And let's see, 1 catch for -4 yards. Not a good game for either of them in their returns from injuries. It was their first game back from injuries. And this is what I always like to say is that unless it's an absolute superstar, unless it's Christian McCaffrey, Justin Jefferson, those top 12 guys, often I don't mind sitting guys in their first game back from a multi-game absence, especially with a hamstring injury, because it can be really tough to come back and be 100%. So don't worry about Aaron Jones and Christian Watson. They'll be fine moving forward. They've got their roles in this offense. Although, your big takeaway about Romeo Doubs, it'll be interesting to see what that means for Christian Watson. Why don't you hit us with that one?
Yeah, so he's got 18 or more PPR fantasy points in 3 of 4 games. And the only week where I was shouting from the rooftops to start him was week 2, when he had a terrible game and he scored 5 fantasy points. But Romeo Doubs, the reason why I liked him was I saw several different writers covering the team predict that Romeo Doubs would lead the team in receptions. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very possible. Watson's going to be a big play guy, but Doubs is going to be the steady guy. I think they get enough from the other guys, the Wicks and the Tories and the Reeds of the world, to make Doubs a little frustrating and inconsistent, but we'll see how it plays out. But this is a guy who, let me see his roster percentage. He's 81% rostered. He was started in 22% of leagues, but that's pretty amazing. 18 or more fantasy points in 3 of 4 games so far. We cannot just overlook that for Romeo Doubs. So he's a plus roster player.
One of those games was a 4-catch, 26-yard, 2-touchdown game, but the last 2, especially 25 targets combined over his past 2 games. He's hit on some big plays, had a 30-yard catch last week, had the touchdown as well, 9 catches for 95 yards in this one. Now, we don't know what this offense looks like with Christian Watson fully healthy. He didn't play anywhere near a full complement of snaps. Very quiet. I'm not sure how much he played in the second half, to be honest. I don't think there was a setback or anything, at least nothing that's been reported. But
I think when the score got out of hand, I feel like he wasn't on the field as much.
Yeah. So, that's a complicating factor. But Romeo Doubs, 81% roster, like you said, that should be 100% based on what we've seen so far. Top 40 wide receiver rest of the season in your eyes?
I think for sure. Mm-hmm. With top 24 potential in PPR if he's going to be the catch guy. And then obviously, Chris, we got to talk about the Lions running backs. David Montgomery is the story here. He scored 3 touchdowns, 32 carries, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 catches for 20 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs with another dud. Jahmyr Gibbs has been around 8-ish points, 9, 12.6 is his high in 4 games. He even had a game without David Montgomery. So it's clear that Montgomery, I don't think you can look at this and go, sell high on Montgomery, buy low on Gibbs. I don't see a reason for it. I don't logic behind that. Even if you think Gibbs is a much better player, that's where I was, but I can't be blind to it anymore. They like Montgomery. He's Jamal Williams. He's a better version of Jamal Williams. He's going to score all of the touchdowns pretty much. And Gibbs is just not really getting it going in the passing game yet. I mean, there are better days ahead for Gibbs because he's explosive, but I no longer view him as a must start. I do view Montgomery as a must start. The yards per carry, I know a lot of people are talking about it right now. I see it on Twitter. I see it in our chat. It doesn't.
The thing is,
it just doesn't matter.
David Montgomery got 32 carries today.
Yeah.
I don't care what the yards per carry is there, especially he's going to get so many goal line situations, so many short yardage situations that the yards per carry is going to be pretty low. Yeah. But unless Dan Campbell and this offensive coaching staff changes their minds about who they want to be their lead back, something that never happened last year, despite DeAndre Swift being a more dynamic player than Jamal Williams, it doesn't really matter if David Montgomery's not efficient because he's going to get the volume. He's going to get those goal line carries. And as we've seen over the past couple of years, there are a lot of goal line carries in this offense. So it's a pretty great spot for David Montgomery to be in. Wish I had him on more of my teams. Glad I didn't take the second or third round plunge on Jahmyr Gibbs like a lot of people did.
Three leagues at least for me. Third round pick, Jahmyr Gibbs.
And look, I think he'll be better than this moving forward. I think they'll get him more involved. 5 targets in this game and only 28 pass attempts. That's pretty good. It's unfortunate that he only had 11 yards, but we've seen him be explosive. We've seen him be dynamic. And I think there is a world in which, like, if he gets 12 touches moving forward like he did today, I think he's going to be a pretty good fantasy option. It's just Montgomery has the touchdown equity. Montgomery has the volume. That's going to make him the better option for fantasy. So that's where we're at on the Lions running game. And that's going to do it for FFT and 5. We'll see you tomorrow.